I know we are talking about Delhi, but uh, India having just one common national ambient air quality standard is also becoming a hindrance to other cities reducing pollution levels, because most of the coastal cities or the northeastern cities are already breathing or are already have pollution levels around 40 or below 40. What is the incentive for those cities to clean their cities further? They also have the same kind of transportation as we have in Delhi. They also have the same kind of industries as we have in Delhi. And so they have the same kind of construction, the same kind of waste management practices. And if you are believing that changing those can reduce Delhi's pollution levels from 100 microgram to 40, the changing and most of these are regulated nationally. We have national policies on a national strength. So these steps also have huge potential to reduce emission loads there. And if the emission loads are reduced in those cities, the pollution levels will come down further. But because they don't have a more ambitious standard, there is no incentive for the city and city administrations to reduce pollution levels further. So what we also need is a staggered approach to the national ambient air quality standard for cities in different geographical areas, particularly the coastal areas, southern India and northeastern India, where pollution levels are already low. They should definitely try to move towards.
So why have we chosen to have just one in the country, and why is it 40 in particular? Is any methodology that they used?
It was developed in 2009, and even at that time, it was more relaxed than the WHO standards. Obviously, there is a methodology which should be followed. We should look at technological health impacts of air pollution. Sadly, most of that research is Europe or US based, and in India, I remember since 2006. That's at least till then I could trace back. And Parian, when somebody asked, deep Bickel diary with air pollution in 2006, we had this response saying that there is no conclusive data because in India we don't have epidemiological studies at all. The response in 2006. Look at this winter session and you will see the same response saying that there is no conclusive evidence that people die due to air pollution in India. There is no Indian study. It's been around 20 years and we haven't done that. But the standards are decided based on the health impacts and also based on the cost of abatement.
Okay.
Like why can't India move to 5? Because the cost to change the industry, transportation and everything will be so high. And that's why we move slowly towards those targets. It is said that most of the health impacts because of air pollution levels or PM 2.5 levels happens around 4 or below 40 or 60 micrograms. After that, the health impacts increase with the increasing pollution level, but the rate of increase is not as high as it is at the lower concentrations.
तो जो इनिशियल डैमेज है
वो जल्दी हो जाता है। अरे 40 माइक्रोग्राम से भी नीचे हो जाता है। तो there is a very very strong case to reduce pollution levels in cities where it is around 35-40 microgram to 25-15 and maybe try to move towards 5 in long term horizon, because most of the health impact is happening at those levels. But sadly, our national ambient air quality standards doesn't have any way that these cities which have managed to either clean their air till the national ambient quality standard or have been there for whatever years since we started monitoring, there is no incentive for them to reduce it further. An example is why both Chennai, Mumbai are part of National Clean Air Program and their pollution levels, PM 2.5 levels, are below 35 microgram, which is below the National Ambient Air Quality Standard. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that they have achieved the National Ambient Air Quality Standard and will be taken out of National Clean Air Program and all the funding, all the support, whatever was going to those cities will be taken away? If that happens, what happens to the systems they have created? What happens to the capacity they have created to reduce these pollution levels? All of that, in absence of funding, in absence of a more ambitious target, will stop functioning and the pollution levels will again start rising. While these cities or these geographies which have made initial progress and others which haven't made progress but are at those levels, they still have high potential to reduce pollution levels because they use the same old industrial technology, emission control technology, same old transport, same old waste management practices, same construction practices as Delhi. And if we are thinking of cleaning Delhi by taking some actions, those most of those actions to control pollution from transport sector, industries, construction, or everything are implemented at national level. So if we can reduce pollution levels in Delhi, the same actions will reduce pollution levels in other cities as well. And that is why we need a staggered approach to national ambient air quality standards, so that these cities which have cleaned their air or which are around the national ambient air quality standards can move to more stringent norms that can move to WHO clean targets in the beginning, and then try to move towards the WHO guideline of 5 microgram, which will take a lot of time. But maybe we can start with moving towards uh, uh, 25 microgram, 50 microgram, and that.
I mean, most change isn't radical, right? It's incremental. So it's going to happen year by year. But the point is that actions shouldn't stop because, we reached a certain target which we think is enough, but where science still finds it.
So we cannot have one common standard. Like the coastal areas are impacted by the land sea bridge, and there is a lot of intermixing happening there. Why should these places have the same standard as Delhi, which you already say that is at a disadvantage? So
Absolutely.
there has to be a renewed approach in how we regulate air pollution. How do we control air pollution? And we will come back to this later, but